Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Staples, and this is your introduction to CHY 107 during our first summer session. And so this is, as you're aware, an online course, but I will be delivering lectures here from the comfort of my basement office for your viewing pleasure. And so I wanted to record this first video just to let you know how the course is going to work and all the different requirements and how we're going to put all these different pieces together for this online chemistry course. I have never taught this particular course online. I've taught it a number of times live, but I've never done 107 online. I have, though, both fortunately and unfortunately, gotten a fair bit of experience in the last year in teaching online chemistry. I taught 113, our general chemistry course, all completely remotely over the course of both fall and spring semesters this year. And so I have learned a few things that hopefully I'll be able to pass along and make this a decent experience for everyone. And so first and foremost, I do want to just put out there that live or online, either way, chemistry during the summer is hard. For many people, this is a very difficult course to begin with, but then to try to cram the course into 7 weeks rather than the traditional 14, there's a lot of information. And so this course is going to be a lot of work. If you're going into this sort of thinking that, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm working full time and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and well, I'm just going to sort of take this summer course too and get things done and out of the way. If you're coming into things with that sort of attitude, be prepared to not succeed. I've seen, again, I've taught this course over a couple summers live, and people who come into it with that attitude quite often either fail or end up withdrawing because it was much more work than they expected. And so I do just want to be very, very upfront about that. Expect to work. You are going to put in a substantial amount of work for this course, especially so because it is online. And so that's going to put a lot of the work into your lap, a lot of the preparation work onto you. And so if you're coming into the course with more of that attitude of, I am going to devote the time that I need to succeed, and I understand that is a lot of time, then you're probably going to do fairly well. But I always like to be upfront about that because invariably I do get some reviews when I teach this in the summer that say things to the effect of, this course was a lot of work for a summer course. This course should not be taken as a summer course. And I don't necessarily agree that it shouldn't be taken as a summer course, but I do agree that it is a lot of work for a summer course. And so I know that I'm repeating that and I'm saying that a lot. But again, I just want to be crystal clear about that this course is going to be a lot of work. And so if you're aware of that from the start, and if you're willing to put in that work, you'll be fine. If you've got a lot of other things going on over the summer, and like I said, your plan was to just sort of take this on the side and get it out of the way, you honestly might be better off waiting until the regular semester. And so that's just a little bit of advice, and I'm happy to meet with people personally over Zoom if you want to discuss that a little bit further. And so let's talk about the course a little bit and how things are going to go. And so, like I said, I'll be recording videos to send out. And so let's sort of take a look at how things are going to flow a little bit. Now, if I bring, oh, okay, right here. And so unfortunately, you're going to have about 3 different websites that you're going to have to navigate for this. And that is unfortunate, and I understand that. It would be much nicer if I could just package everything right into Brightspace for you and have everything right there. There's a couple reasons I don't, though. One, between you and me, look around and make sure there's no one listening. Brightspace kind of sucks. I don't find it a very useful, user-friendly platform, either on my end or on your end. And so I still maintain a website that I've been working on for several years now, and which I think is much more user friendly. It's much easier to find things. It's much more visually appealing. It's just a much better platform to use. And so this website here, which you will find in the syllabus, and I'll include it in the email that I send out as well. Make a little note to myself. Remember to do that. Include website in this email. And so the message that you received with this lecture video link We'll have this website in there as well. And this is going to be our central hub for the whole entire course. And so on the front page here, on the landing page, you'll find several useful things. One, the course syllabus, which we will talk about in a little bit. And actually just looking at the notes that I wanted to discuss, another thing that I really wanted to make clear before we talk much about this, and actually it's sort of included in the syllabus, so this works out, is even though this is an asynchronous online course, what that really means is that you can access the lectures and access the material on your own schedule. However, and I know that I've sent this out in an email or two as well, be aware that certain assessments will have to be taken on certain days, namely your quizzes and your exams. There will be a quiz nearly every Tuesday in the course. If we just pop over and look at the schedule here on the website, and we'll look at some more of this in some more detail later. But we see, for instance, your first quiz will be Tuesday, May 25th. We'll look at the platform in a minute where you can access those. But when quizzes have to be taken on those days, they are available essentially midnight to midnight. And so you can take it anytime over that day that you want. You have 1 hour to complete the quiz once you begin, but they must be taken on those specific days. Same with our midterm on June 11th and our final exam on July 2nd. And so note these dates in there, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of these in a little bit, but those are non-negotiable. You must take those assessments on those days. No exceptions to that. So it's just another thing to be aware of. If that does not work for your schedule for whatever reason, then again, that might be another reason for you to look into taking this course during the regular session, during the fall or spring semesters. Not that I want to dissuade anyone from being in this course. I would love to teach everybody who wants to take it. But there are those things to consider. Summer courses are a little bit different. And with these dates, if that's not what you thought you were getting into, if you thought you could just sort of do things at whenever you wanted to, there are some restrictions there. So I want to be very clear about that so everyone is aware. And so, okay, back to sort of the website in general. Like I said, it's our central hub. And if we go through a few things in the syllabus that you can find, I'll let you look through most of this on your own. We'll talk about the Achieve platform in just a minute, but that will be the website you need to access for all of your assessments, all of your homework, your quizzes, your exams will all be on there. And so here are instructions to access that. Your textbook is included with access to the Achieve system. And so you do get a free ebook access that comes with Achieve. If you do want a hard copy, if you're like me, where's my copy? Here it is. And you do just like having a hard copy of the book, there is absolutely a hard copy. We're using this Essentials of General Organic and Biochemistry textbook. To me, this is sort of the Bible of this course. I think this is by far the best textbook for this class. And so if you do want an actual hard copy edition, that is available through eCampus, and you can purchase it there. Other things that you'll need a scientific calculator. And technically you can't use your phones, but let's be honest, I'm not there to stop you because you'll be taking the exams in the comfort of your own homes probably. And I'll let you look through the rest of the syllabus on your own. We'll talk about some of these other things, but as far as how you'll be assessed, there is going to be a participation requirement for this course to participate in some online discussion forums. Those weekly quizzes will be 20% of your grade. And so, like I said, they're going to be pretty much every Tuesday. There will be 5 total quizzes. I will drop the lowest quiz score. So that means if you do have something planned, if you're going to be camping some week and you just cannot get to the quiz that week, then that would count as a 0, but that lowest one would be dropped. Same with your homework. Homeworks are going to be due every Sunday, with I think maybe one exception in there around the midterm time. But homework will be due every Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Now, homeworks in general, you can access anytime. Those are different from quizzes. It's not like quizzes will be available just on the day that you need to take them. Homework, in fact, homework 1 is available now if you wanted to start peeking around at it. But homeworks are all available. I think I have it set 10 days before their due date. And so 10 days before it's actually due, you can access the homework and start working on it whenever you'd like. It's just that you cannot continue to work on it after the due dates of Sunday at 11:59. Those due dates will not be extended for any reason, including last minute technical issues. So plan ahead. The homework assignments are also going to take you a fair bit of time, and so plan accordingly. If you're waiting until Sunday night at 10 o'clock to start it, good luck. And that's really all I can say about that. You likely would not be leaving yourself enough time. And also, and I realize that this comes off as, I'm trying to come up with a different way to say the word hard ass, but I can't. And so this comes off rather hard ass. But even if you email me and say, hey, Professor Staples, I went to work on the homework last night. If you're emailing me Monday morning, you say, I went to work on the homework last night and my computer crapped out on me at 10 o'clock. Sorry. I mean, it's an online course and we need to find ways around that. And so plan accordingly. I will, however, also drop the lowest homework grade. There will be 5 total homeworks and I'll drop the lowest one. Both quizzes and homework are worth 20% each. A full half of your grade is going to be determined by 2 different exams. Our midterm on July 21st and our final exam on, sorry, I've got to adjust those. Those were, I will definitely fix that in the syllabus. I think those are still in there from when I taught the course a couple summers ago. But you could also find those under the tab on the website, assessment information. I have all the quiz dates and the midterm and final exam dates there as well. And so our midterm, June 11th, and our final on July 2nd. And so my little cheat sheet go to talk about. So what else on the website? And so here's another page that's on the website, your assessment information. And so you can find, for instance, instructions to sign up with Achieve, which we'll talk about in a minute. You can find that here. And peruse the rest of the syllabus, peruse on your own, look through that, read through your syllabus. It's always a good idea to read the syllabus thoroughly for any course. But again, yeah, also on the website, so we've got this assessment information page. Any announcements you'll be able to find here. I'm waiting just a little bit for more people to add drop the course, but I always set up Google Groups with all of my classes. Makes it easy to email things out. It also makes me really easy to then access the announcements right on the website like this. And so any emails that I send out to the whole class will also show up right here on this announcements page. And then this, topic details. And so these pages are where you're going to find most of, or at least most of the resources that I've developed for each topic that we do. And so our first topic, matter and energy. And so if we click on this, you can see a couple things. First, all the different objectives. And so we've got, for instance, here, objective 1, understanding just the very basics of matter and energy. We come down here to objective 1, and we see that in order to some of the tasks that you need to do to succeed, in addition, obviously, to watching the lecture videos, it shows you what section to read in the textbook, and then it tells you the learning objectives for that particular objective. And so at the end of this, you should be able to differentiate between matter and energy, and you should be able to describe the difference between and provide examples of kinetic and potential energy. That also pretty much serves as your study guide for tests and quizzes. And so this tells you what I will be assessing you on. And so you're able to go into that and say, okay, can I do these things? Can I, for objective 2 here, can I convert units using the metric system? If you can, great. Don't spend time studying that for your test or your quiz. If you can, that shows you where you need to focus some of your efforts. The other thing that you will find on these topic details are different materials. And so whenever I do record my lectures, I base those off slides, and we'll see what that looks like in just a second. But all of the lecture slides that I use, you can find here on this materials page. You can also find supplemental videos. These are short videos that focus in on particular things. And so, for instance, here with the matter, energy, and measurement, I've got a supplemental video on just metric conversions. And so if you're saying to yourself, I really need some help with that, let's find some more resources, you can look to here to see if I've got any of those videos for you. We have these informational handouts. And so these would just be things that are, that normally if we were in a live class, I would print and hand out for you. So you have for your notebooks and you have for your general resources. But here you would just click on it and say, okay, well, here's just a resource about metric conversions. This is something that would help me learn how to do that. And then you'll also find some general practice. You'll find some practice as well on the Achieve platform, which we'll look at in a little bit. But these are practice worksheets that I've made and that I've developed, or I've flat out stolen from somewhere. But they're worksheets that I do find helpful for various practice. They'll all either have answer keys built into the worksheet itself, or you'll see the key off to the side here. So here we see a metric conversions practice, and then the answer key, so you can check yourself. So there's the key all done out. These are never anything that will be assigned or collected, anything like that. They're just additional practice and additional resources for you to help master the material. And so what else? You can also find, when I do post lecture videos, if you click right here, this is one place you'll be able to access your lecture videos. So for instance, once I am done and I have this video uploaded to YouTube, I will have the link to it right here. And by the time you're looking at the website, hopefully you'll see this course intro linked here, but also right beside here, you will also see the time of the video. Actually, to show you an example, I'll show you what that looked like for 113 that I taught this past semester. There are lectures, there they are. So for instance, you'll see it looking just like this. I probably won't have the dates there because things are a little bit different with our summer session, but you'll see the link to the lectures here along with how long it is. Yours won't be nearly this long. We'll talk about that. But you can see if you just click on that. For just $67. And unfortunately, they're throwing some ads onto some of mine lately. I don't know why. But you'll see the lecture videos pop up. First lecture. Now, I know looking at this is kind of daunting. We look at this and we say, oh my God, week one, he's got like 14 different videos there. I'm taking a slightly different approach with recording my lecture videos for this summer session. The way that I did things for 113 is I basically approached my lecture videos just like we were live, and it was the material that I would have presented during the normal twice weekly lecture. And so the lecture videos were anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half long. That's a long time. And so what I'm doing with these is I'm making much shorter, very specific lecture videos. And so each of these will be, depending on the topic, anywhere between probably 10 and 20 minutes long. And so that does still mean that every week you're going to have somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 4 hours worth of lecture that you have to watch, which seems like a lot, and it is. But again, let's just consider what we're doing here. This is a summer session chemistry course. We've got half the time that we normally would. And so if we were meeting live, for instance, every one class session that we had would be the equivalent to a week in a normal semester. And so that means that these videos that you're seeing here and this 3 or 4 hours I'm talking about that you're going to have to watch, that's the equivalent of 2 weeks worth in a fall or spring semester. And if we think about a normal lecture class, you'd be there probably twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes. And so there's 2 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes every week. 2 weeks, over 2 weeks, that's 5 hours. And so, yes, this is a lot of lecture watching that you're going to have to do, but it's no different than what it would be during a fall or spring semester. It's just condensed because of our shorter time. And so those you'll find here. You'll be able to click on those and watch the videos. You will also be able to find them on the course schedule. And so if you look at the course schedule here, take a little bit of time to talk about this. And so we can see, for instance, here in week 1, these are all the topics that I'm going to be covering. This is where you can also see what the reading is that you're going to be responsible for those particular topics. And so for matter, energy, and measurement, we have to read chapter 1. And so a couple things with the schedule, these are all linked as well. So if you click on the matter, energy, and measurement, it will bring you right to that appropriate page on the website. You'll also be able to find all of the lecture videos there, and these will be linked as I make the videos and link them in. And so the matter and energy video, you'll be able to link here, and you'll be able to link to measurement and so forth. So again, this is what I mean by if we, again, sort of keep in mind a comparison to a fall or spring semester as opposed to our summer session. This would normally be 2 weeks right here. And so this would be all the material here that I would normally cover in one lecture. This material would all be a lecture. This material would be one lecture, and this material would be one lecture. Again, if this were a fall or spring normal semester. And so this, like all of this would have been week 1, and all of this would have been week 2, but we're compressed. So anyway, that's where you can find all the different places where you can find the lecture videos. Let's just talk real quick about what the lectures will look like. They're going to look a lot like what you're seeing here. I will typically have something for some slides going. And so I'll be talking about the slides. Here's what we'll be discussing here in chapter 2. And I'll be going through some things and talking about all this. If I occasionally have to, if I want to work a problem up, then I'll just pull up my little whiteboard here. Maybe we've got a density problem, density equals mass divided by volume, 2.5 grams divided by 1.2 milliliters equals whatever. But I'll be working things out there, or maybe showing you some of my lovely artwork. Here's a lovely Erlenmeyer flask. Maybe it's got some nice red liquid in it. I mean, whatever it is that I would normally use a chalkboard for, I use this whiteboard for. Sometimes I do like to have them up side by side, so I might shrink the lecture down a little bit and be able to have both of them up side by side. Just depends on what's going on. But this is essentially what your lectures will look like, is me up in a little corner, and then the videos going on. And so, okay. Is there anything else that I really wanted to say about the website? I don't think so. I mean, really, there's a wealth of information on here, and we'll hit some of this a little bit too in a little bit. Look through the website. Look through everything that is here. That's part of what you should be doing before the class even starts, but especially in our first week, is really just going through the website, looking at all the resources, and seeing how you can use various things. There's a great tool on here on various study tips. A lot of these were drawn or written obviously for live classes, but they all still apply. Things like review the material before class, review it before you watch the lecture video. You should be watching, so you should be reading in your textbook before you ever watch my lectures. And then during the lectures, you should be taking notes just like it was a live class. Take notes during the lectures. That's one of the nice things about the online courses like this and recorded lectures. You can be taking some notes, pause the video, write some things down, restart the video, and so forth. But then review your notes afterwards. So these, like I said, these do apply to a live class, but there's no reason you couldn't make most all of these work for our online version as well. And so let's look at Achieve. So you do have, if you go onto our website here, this is one way you can access the Achieve platform. You can just hit the little button right here, access the Achieve platform, and it will bring you to the platform that we're going to use for our various assessments. I was already logged in on another screen, so it brought me right to the right to my view of the page. But actually, let's go ahead and sign right out. And let's bring the syllabus back up just to show you how. So again, instructions you can find right here on the syllabus. And so this will tell you, if you haven't already, how you need to enroll in the Achieve platform. It's a pretty easy process. There is a cost. I forget what it is off the top of my head. I think 40 bucks. Pretty reasonable, really. And so just go through these instructions. You don't get a full 14 days of free access because it's a shortened course, but I believe you do get a 10-day free trial with this. And so there's no excuse not to sign up immediately, because you will get 10 days free after signing up for it. But after the end of that trial period, you will need to purchase your access. And that's another thing that is non-negotiable. This platform is absolutely a required portion of your course. and the vast majority of your assessments are going to take place on this platform. So you absolutely have to purchase this as part of the course. But again, $40, pretty reasonable compared to some textbook costs these days, which are getting out of control. But anyway, so this gives you your basic instructions. You already have the code. You can find the code right here on the syllabus. So that's our code for this session. And so you'll have to put that in order to access the platform. But then let's just look at the platform itself a little bit. Let me preview it the way you would see it. So there's a few different things going on here. One, you can see by assignments that are coming up. And so for one thing, you can see your first homework assignment that is due on May 23rd. You would be able to click this, and it brings you directly to, I haven't talked for a week or so. So it brings you directly to the homework question. So here, classifying each substance as an element, compound, homogeneous mixture, or heterogeneous mixture. And so we would go through this, and you would try to figure out exactly what was what here. And there we go. Homework, be aware that you do have unlimited attempts, but there is a 5% penalty per attempt. Homework is an assessment just like any other, and so you do get more credit for getting your answer right in fewer attempts. And so take a look at this too. 70 questions on this first homework assignment. Some of these are fairly quick. I mean, examples of matter, some of them won't take you more than 10, 15 seconds to answer. Some of them are a little bit longer. But this is something that you're going to need to devote some serious time to. And again, keeping in mind just sort of our compressed summer session, this is a full 2 weeks worth of homework here in a normal session. And so that's a lot of work that you're going to have to do. Plan accordingly. Don't save it all. If you save it all for Sunday, you're going to have yourself a lot of work on a Sunday when you could be enjoying time with your family or doing something else. You can always come back to homework as much as you want, and it will show you here which problems you've done, which problems you still need to work on, and so forth. And so you'll have all of your homework there. On assessment days, and I always forget you can't just go back with this, it's weird. So on assessment days, when you have quizzes or tests, those are going to show up here as well. Oh, let me get the student preview. Mine shows me all of them that I've set up. I've got about half the course already ready to go in here. But if it were a quiz or a test day, then that would show up here, that you'd be available to click it, and it would be ready to go. The other thing that you find is if we go to my course, you can view by course content. This is going to give you a wealth of other resources to help you learn the material. So right here, chapter 1, matter, energy, and measurement. One thing that you'll have is just, you see these icons here for the book. This just brings you, it's one way you can get to just the textbook. So you just click on that. It's going to bring you directly to chapter 1. And here's chapter 1 that you should be reading. Flipping through the different sections. So you've got your ebook there. There is a way, by the way, to download the ebook, and I don't remember exactly what that method is. And this is something I'm going to probably give them for feedback. This is until I learn what you can definitely go back and what you can't. That's kind of a pain. Okay, so anyway, course content. So that's ways you can get to the book. Throughout the chapter, you're also going to find practice exercises just throughout the reading. You'll find the answers to those here, as well as end of chapter problems, which you don't have the answers for. But the other thing that you'll find here are different animations or different videos, different just activities that help you to see and process and learn the material. We also have these adaptive quizzes. These are quizzes that will as the name implies, adapt to you. They will change depending on what you're getting right or wrong. They'll change difficulty level, and they're adaptive in that way. These are not required. These are just something else to help you learn the material. Another thing that they will do, though, is, for instance, here in chapter 1, if you go through the whole thing, it will then tell you some things that you should probably focus on. If you go through the whole thing and you're nailing matter and energy, you're nailing units of measurement, but your significant figures are a little bit shaky, then it definitely lets you know that, and it gives you some of the resources that you'll need to look into that. The other thing, actually, speaking of resources, if we go back to the homework, another thing that you will find and this is my view, not your view. That's okay. So if we bring this one up, for instance, this question here, another thing that you're going to find is you'll be able to see feedback. And it's going to give you some hints and some feedback. And when you get questions wrong, you will also see targeted feedback that helps explain why you got it wrong. That's the thing that I do really like about online platforms like this, is that when you get a question wrong, it gives you targeted feedback and lets you know, and gives you some tips and some hints in that way. And so those are all the resources that you have on the Achieve website. Again, a couple different ways to look at it. You'll also, if you have an hour or so, or you have some time and you just want to do some reading, you want to start reading ahead or going back and reading a chapter that you wanted a little more help on, a little bit more review, you can simply come in, click on the ebook, and it'll simply bring you right to the book itself. Like I said, there is a way, and I haven't played with this yet. Oh, but I'm trying to remember. It's not in there. Right here. So if you click up in here, download the ebook app or read the ebook through these. And honestly, I don't remember exactly how. Play with this, or you could even find it through the help. But you can download a copy of the book to if you're going to be offline for a little bit. And I'm pretty sure that you can even download it to a mobile device so that you can take your chemistry textbook with you wherever you go. Isn't that exciting? And so that's Achieve. This is the first time that I've used this particular platform. From what I've worked with it so far, it's decent, I would say. It's not the best platform that I've used, but it's the one that is designed to go with our textbook. And so that's why I chose to use it. And the other platforms would have cost you additional money. And I really didn't want to put an additional expense on you because I definitely wanted to use this book. Like I said, this is the book when it comes to this course. And so we're going to use Achieve and see how it goes. Like I said, I think that it's a pretty decent platform, but I'd be interested in hearing your feedback as time goes on as well. Let me know what you think of it as we go through the course. Another required aspect of your grade, if we take a look here on our syllabus. So another required aspect of your grade, 10% of your grade is going to be determined by a participation grade. For your participation grade, you're going to have to go to, unfortunately, one more additional resource, and that's just Brightspace. And so you can get to it here. Unfortunately, to access it for right here from the website, you need to be logged into Brightspace on another tab somewhere, which you may have up anyway. Here it comes. Come on. And so just to show you what I do have on Brightspace for the course while we're right here, it's not much, honestly. An announcement that does say, look at the website. And then I do have the links to the website, to the syllabus, and to the schedule here as well. But the other thing that you will need, so we can see now that I'm logged into another tab, it'll also bring it up here. Or if you're right in Brightspace, go to Assessments and Discussions. One of the things that we really miss being online is a sense of class community and being able to chat with each other before class, during class, after class. Hey, I was really stuck on question number 22. What did you do for it? What equation do I even need? What's going on there? and some of that chatter back and forth. We don't have that in an online course. And so I try to recreate that at least a little bit with this discussion platform, or even simply during a lecture or something, or you're working on things and you have a question about something for me, about content. You're asking, you want to know, how do I find out the number of protons in an atom? I guarantee somebody else has that question as well. And if we were in a live course, you'd be able to simply ask that question, I'd answer it, and the whole class would have the benefit of hearing my answer. We don't have necessarily that same ability with the online course. You would email me the question, I'd email it back to you, and then it's just a one-on-one, and not everybody benefits. So I want you to also use this platform for any of those types of questions. If you have a content-related question for me, ask it here on the platform. That will do a couple of things. One, it gives everybody the benefit of the answer, but two, your classmates can answer it. I'm not always going to be available right away to answer questions on this platform. I've got a fairly busy life in the summer. I've got a little 1-year-old running around, and I do a lot of work outside. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely going to be working a lot for this, but sometimes you want answers more quickly than I'm going to be able to give them to you. Post them on here, maybe one of your classmates will see it and be able to answer it for you quicker. Now, trust me, I will be monitoring this platform, so if I see wrong answers that your classmates gave, I'll certainly correct that. But it's a good way for you to ask questions and get answers fairly quickly, and for everyone to engage in some of that conversation. And I have things set up here, organized in a few different ways. One, just general questions. If you have a general question just about, how something's working, how do I get into Achieve, what are some of the dates for things, just sort of general overall questions about the class, those would go here. And then I've got things separated into 2 basic sessions for topics. Ask any of your concept-related questions in here. And so, for instance, the one that I just said, how do you find the number of protons in an atom? That would be under atomic structure. Go ahead and click into atomic structure, and you can start a new thread here. You would just say, how do I find the number of protons in an atom? And I guess this would be the title of your thread, but then you have to actually ask it here. And so you might, things a little differently maybe. So maybe protons. And then the actual post itself. And then it would be posted. And so then the question is going to be here for anyone to answer. Someone's going to click on this and say, oh, well, I know how to do that. And so then they would click to reply to the thread and say that the number of protons is equal to the atomic number, which can be found on the periodic table, which is absolutely a topic we'll be talking about in our first one of our first lectures. And so just like that. And so we come back to the discussions, and we can see that here. And so now under atomic structure, that thread is there. Try to keep homework related questions out of this section. This section is more for general questions like that, or if you happen to come across a great resource, because I encourage you to use all the resources you can find as well. If you find a great Khan Academy video on something, post that in here, share it with your classmates, let them see it too. If you have homework questions, keep those down here. So for instance, any questions related to homework 1, specific questions within homework 1, ask those here. Again, I will be watching this too, making sure that people aren't giving direct answers. What's the answer to number 23 in homework 1? Oh, it's 17. That's not allowed. You do have to do the homework on your own. But general questions like, hey, I'm really struggling with question 23 in homework 5. This is what I've tried. I've tried it 3 times. It hasn't worked. Does anyone have any tips? Does anyone know what equation I would use? Where would I try to find this information? Questions like that, absolutely I want you helping each other with. And so post those types of questions here too. If you find some really cool things, chemistry in the news, throw it out there. I mean, certainly, like now, especially with the pandemic, if you find some great information or just something you found really interesting on how the vaccine works, what is up with an mRNA vaccine? We'll be talking about mRNA towards the end of the summer. But if you want to post things about that here, go ahead. And lastly, make us laugh. Throw some good chemistry jokes and memes up there. I'll be honest, you'll be hard pressed to find one that I haven't seen yet or heard yet. But if you do, congratulations. That would be great. And so that's just a way to help us blow off a little bit of steam. And so we've got this Brightspace discussion thread that will help us to communicate and keep sort of a classroom dynamic alive a little bit. As far as requirements for it, let's go back to our syllabus. Maybe I had it up right here. Nope. So many tabs. Come on. And so here's our syllabus. And so as for requirements, I'll be looking for a total of 10 contributions for the first half, so up until the midterm, and then an additional 10 contributions between the midterm and the final. Little typo there, Professor Staples, which I will fix. It's not a midterm, it's a midterm. This basically averages out to about 3 to 4 contributions per week. And so if you're creating threads or responding to threads, if you're doing that 3 or 4 times a week, that's what I'll be looking for. And that would get you full participation credit. All right. I think that is most of what I had to talk about. So just to recap, lots and lots and lots of work. Expect to work your tail off this summer. It's going to be a lot of work in order to succeed. All of your assessments will be taking place over the platform Achieve. So that is an absolute requirement. Sign up for that as soon as you can. Even if you don't have the money right now to sign up for it, you do have a free trial. So sign up as soon as you can and start playing with that platform. Look around on it. Check out the resources that there are that you have. At the end of that 10 days, you will need to purchase your access. The access to that, I don't think I mentioned this, can either be purchased directly through the site itself. And so as you go through the course sign up right on their site, you have the ability to purchase the access right there. You can also purchase an access code through eCampus. If your financial aid situation is such that you have to buy your course materials through eCampus, then you're able to do that. Just go ahead and purchase your access code right through eCampus, and then you would punch that access code into Achieve when you go to sign up. And so work your tails off. Everything's in Achieve. The course website is sort of our main hub. Make sure that you're going there. And communicate with me. That's another thing that I can't stress enough. If you have some questions, you're not sure what's going on, let me know. Talk to me about difficulties that you're having. Which does remind me, my office hours. So office hours are going to be by Zoom. And rather than set certain times for them, I'm going to just say that office hours will be by appointment. And so if you want to meet to talk about anything, send me an email. And we'll schedule a time accordingly that we can meet via Zoom. We'll work with both of our schedules and we'll find something. I'll let you know that for the most part, my time is pretty flexible. During the summer, we're still sending the boy to daycare, and so most of my days are going to be spent either working here or working outside somewhere in around my home. And so my time will be pretty flexible. Now, that does not mean that you don't expect to be able to email me and say, hey, I really need to meet you in a half hour. Yeah, good luck with that. But if you email me, on Monday and say, I'd really like to get together sometime tomorrow, then that's very possible. Or that I will say that would be doable. Or even if you email me, on a Wednesday morning and say, what are the chances you can meet with me this afternoon? We could probably work something out. So again, rather than just having set office hour times for the summer session, it's going to be by appointment, and the link is just right here. You'll also find the link in my email. And so you see right here, any emails that I send to you, the Zoom link for my office hours will be right in there as well. Okay, I think that was about all that I really had to talk about. And so, with that, I'll say again, just welcome to the class. This class is going to be a lot of work, but hopefully it'll be a little bit of fun too. I'll try to mix in some entertainment when I can. Actually, there are a couple of you, for those who don't know my background a little bit, I actually taught high school for 10 years before coming to teach at USM full time. I hold a master's degree in chemistry, which I earned at Montana State. And then when I came back from Montana, I grew up in Maine, came back from Montana and started teaching high school for a while. In fact, one or two of you that are watching this video, I actually had as high school students. So welcome back. You just can't escape me, can you? You might notice that from the last that you've talked to me, a little bit more gray here going on. Turns out that's what will happen when you have a baby in the middle of a pandemic. But what I'm going to leave you with, speaking of that, couldn't resist it. There's a little shot of little baby Henry. So there he is. And with that, I will leave you. Email me with any questions. Absolutely communicate with me, talk to me, and let's make this work. All right. Have a great day, everybody.